Welcome back. I'm Jackie Jing with Veli and Jesse, and what a day 4 of Stage 2. So far, Dark Zero defeated by Space Station Gaming, but we got another awesome matchup ahead of us. Tempo versus TSM. Gentlemen, tell me, how are you feeling about our second matchup of the day? Jesse, I'm going to start with you. You're not going to freeze on me this time, right?
I sure hope not.
Yay.
If you can hear me, then we're probably good. No, I think this is going to be an interesting one. There's an obvious favorite, I think, unlike the last matchup, but Tempo Storm surprised a lot of people last week, so they could absolutely come back and do it again.
Yeah, Veli.
Yeah,
Tempo.
Tempo.
I mean, they definitely shocked us a little bit last week.
Of course they shocked us. Last stage,
no.
Tempo Storm, they were...
Veli, you're muted. He's muted.
I was just talking quieter than usual. No, I'm playing. I was muted.
That's
I'm stupid.
okay.
Sure
No,
thing.
Tempo Storm, I mean, they shocked us all because stage
Ow,
one...
I just hit myself in the head.
With the previous iteration of the team, Sloppy wasn't working out for him. They got rid of Sloppy. They brought in Jarvis. Jarvis is a championship caliber player, and this team just looks night and day, so much better. But it's not just that; it's the role change and the consistency behind it. It's dreaming creators for me. They have stepped up so big for this roster, and plus, the coaching staff's been going over top too, especially with their latest pickup of Rams.
Oh my gosh, just really excited to see what Tempo can pull out here. And
Yes.
obviously, always great to watch TSM. Bolo, right? But before we get into that, I have my Predator 900 laptop here. I accidentally just hit myself in the head with it earlier. But it is absolutely awesome. Veli, do you have yours?
It's in the other room. I can run.
Veli!
I'm slow though, so I don't think you want me to do that.
You know this is a
Jesse has
laptop
his.
segment. It's okay. Jesse
Beautiful.
just big flex. Be like, now Veli doesn't have his for once. Haha, you don't have yours.
My boo thing took it, man. I'm sorry.
Aw, yeah, Jasmine's like playing games on it right now.
Fall Guys.
But yes, oh yeah, hey, that's a good one. But
beauty.
we always want to say thank you to our sponsors. Predator, thank you so much. You make our broadcast better. This laptop I've put through a lot. There's just been a lot of work that's been put in this thing. So thank you so much for this wonderful laptop. Now let me throw it. No, I'm kidding. But actually, let's start talking about match 2. And I want to start off with Tempo, you guys.
Okay.
Tempo Storm storming into stage 2 like a hurricane, right? They took down OXG. Veli, I mean, I think this is a question on everyone's mind. Was this a fluke, or is Tempo about to bring a downpour of pain on TSM?
Was it a fluke? Put some respect on their name. No,
Okay.
seriously. Let's be completely honest for a second. Oxygen has been extremely inconsistent lately. They haven't had the individual performances that they wanted, and also the performances as a team. So Tempo facing off against Oxygen, that was perfect for Tempo to get a win and really tell themselves, hey, we're about that life. Now they're gonna have to go against TSM, which is gonna be extremely hard. But if there's one reason why, I'm gonna point out 2 people. I said it before, it's gonna be their Ash and Zofia duo. Dreaming creators combined for 63 kills, I believe positive 21 against Oxygen. To do that against the likes of Vertical, Laxing, Fox, Save by everyone else, that's nutty, right? But it's not just that, it's the support group they have behind them. The backline, better than ever now. Yes, I've always said Crazy, he's a fantastic smoke. He can hold the fort down. You saw the ace against Sonics in stage 1, right? But it's going to be Jarvis as well. We really don't have a big sample size of Jarvis on this roster. Just 2 maps from last play day, but we've seen what he can do on TSM when he won the championship with them. So I'm excited to see how their real test is going to be against TSM and Bolo.
Yeah, oh my gosh, they're really going to be put to the test now for
Yeah.
sure. But you know, the 3 of us have been talking, and we feel like Tempo has been making the right changes with their roster, their play style. Jesse, what do you like from this new Tempo, and what do you want to see them do today against TSM?
Well, I think there's a lot to like about the new Tempo. One thing I think that was really big that happened against Auction Esports was they kept their composure, and the mental game was really, really strong from Tempo Storm. I think that's largely due to the fact that this is the only team inside of North America that I'm aware of that has a dedicated sports psychologist working with them. Matt Wolf, I believe, is the guy who has been working with Tempo Storm players. It's a huge reason why they were able to chain so many rounds together towards those last 2 maps against Auction Esports. And I think OXG slipped a little bit in that former matchup, and Clearly Tempo Storm, that didn't happen to them. So with even more on the line today, with even more pressure and a tougher opponent, I would say, on the other side of the screen, that's going to be more important than ever to keep their mental composure. And with a guy like Matt Wolf behind the wheels, I'm sure that they will.
Yeah, definitely a tougher opponent. TSM is an exceptional team, and definitely want to talk about them a little bit. Achieved was on a podcast recently, and he was talking about the changing meta and how everyone is trying to adapt. TSM comes up with creative plays, but Jesse, what do you want to see them pull out today against Tempo?
Yeah, I think that a lot of teams after the major took a little bit of time to sort of reform themselves and look over their past strategies, something Auction talked about, something TSM have talked about a little bit. And for TSM, they really just like to, get more frags, get a little bit more aggressive, and I think that's been working out for them really well. We've seen them play once so far in this stage, like most teams, and now they're going to come into the second game, and I just kind of want to see them continue to do what they've been doing, right? Keep on going with those spawn peaks when they're needed. And they're not excessive, they're not too crazy with your aggression, you're not stage 1 E-United.
It works.
But it works, right? They're making sure that they do it at smart times. They're getting important picks, and they're not afraid. And that's been really good to see. They're not so focused on utility anymore, like we saw from them in Stage 1. And I really do like the direction that TSM is headed.
So, Veli,
yes.
Tempo, just being honest here, they've been a bottom mid-level team for a bit of time now. They're really trying to prove that they're a top contender, but one thing I love about TSM, and we hear this not just from TSM, from lots of the different teams, but they don't take any opponent lightly. Like, they're going to bring their A game today.
Well, especially against Tempo Storm. Remember the first matchup of the season? Tempo against TSM? We expected Tempo to be blown out the water, okay?
Yeah.
But it was actually a respectable game, thanks to Dream, right? But the thing is, we saw what they did against the likes of Oxygen and their crazy play style. TSM is a different beast. A lot of people know what TSM are going to do in rounds, especially on defense and attack, but there's two players you just can't account for, and I think that's the X factor for TSM. Tempo Storm, they're not going to be ready for Bolo and Merc. It's just going to be rough. So I think Tempo has a chance, but TSM are expected to win.
Gentlemen, this is coming down that we are into the map selection process. That information should be popping up on the screen here in just a little bit. So let me know what you're thinking for map vetoes. Here it is, gentlemen.
Okay, Oregon Theme Park gone first. We're going to get Clubhouse right off the bat. Chosen by Tempo Storm, this was their best map in Stage 1. It makes a lot of sense to pick this. TSM looked really bad, particularly at the Major against Dark Zero on this map. Then we get Consulate picked by TSM way back. This is the map that TSM ran at the Invitational, and they rolled over a lot of teams. Since then, they've played really well on it. They've only lost it once. Tempo, they kind of avoided this map for a while, but they have played it more recently. And then we get Villa. TSM have lost Villa once in the last year, if my notes are correct, and it was an 8-7 loss. So that's a really long stretch of time where TSM have performed very well on Villa. But Tempo Storms looked good here as well. They lost twice in Stage 1, but both were also 8-7s. So, if all these teams have histories of 8-7s, then we could get a really barn burner match in map number 3.
Especially in Consulate, both play styles.
True.
Can't wait.
All right. Well, definitely excited for this match. So let's get right to it, gentlemen. Predictions. Veli, who are you thinking taking?
Jesse, you go first, man.
Jesse, you go first.
Yeah,
mixing it up apparently.
You know why? I don't want to jinx him because I'm really happy for him. So I'm just F it, man.
Okay, Jesse, go first.
I'm picking Tempo.
Oh,
Tempo.
no, you want to go? What?
I cursed him. I feel terrible. I'm going with Tempo. Honestly,
okay.
Look, with all due respect, Tempo, they're a brand new team. They look so promising. I mean, E-United, Tempo, these two teams you just can't help but root for at this point. Close game against TSM first time around. I'm hoping they can finish the job this time.
Okay, Veli. Okay.
I feel terrible.
Oh, God. I know. Veli, you have a very good track record for cursing teams.
I do.
Jesse has a good track record for picking teams. So, Jesse, who are you going to pick?
I thought Veli was finally making a big brain play. He was going to go after me and just copy what I said because I'm 7-0, not that I'm counting.
Okay.
So I'm going TSM. Veli probably has cursed Tempo Storm. TSM looks like the better team. I'll go ahead and pick that squad.
All right. Well, let's get right to it. But really quickly, we would like to tell everyone at home, please, if you don't already, follow us on social media. We got a Twitter account, we got an Instagram account, and there's just hilarious content on there all of the time. time. Also, Jesse is apparently back on Twitter, so
Yay.
if y'all were wondering where
Finally.
his tweets were, he is back. And do not forget to participate in our community poll. And up next, we're mixing things up a little bit, everybody. We
Let's
got
go.
Kicks and Stokes casting our final matchup of the day. So let's roll into it. We'll be back in just a little bit, folks. Don't go anywhere.
After coming in second place at the August Major, we've been trying to work out the kinks, and I think some changes in our strats and come back stronger for second split.
I think we need to be more aggressive. I mean, we have the best name in Siege and the best talent in Siege, so play to our strengths instead of our weaknesses.
Just about improving. We're really consistent, and it's just about pushing ourselves over the edge.
Us all being under the same roof will definitely help us in stage 2.
It's a little tough moving into a new environment, moving away from home, but it's a bit easier to work on the things you need to when you're all together.
It's been long overdue to just finally get under one roof and just start grinding.
We're known to be really good at LAN events because we're all together, we're all like having fun and helping each other out on whichever we need. It'll definitely show on stage 2.
A team that I'd like to face would be Dark Zero. We got second to them at the major, and getting revenge would feel really good.
We'll be looking forward to the rematch.
We'll be seeing you, DZ.
Boo. We're coming for you.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. My name is Kix. I'm joined by Stokes. We don't get to cast together often, Stokes, but it's good to see you, man. How's things?
Good to see you too, man. Extremely excited for the matchup today, Tempo versus TSM. There's a lot of action still to be had, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I expect this will probably be a pretty exciting match. I think with the performance we've been seeing from Tempo Storm as of late, there's definitely a chance that this could be closer than you might have thought, especially in stage 1. So I'm just as excited as everybody else. Going into this match, my expectation, of course, is going to be for TSM. I think pretty much, you read the room, and everybody but Veli's probably going to be thinking that. But at the same time, Tempo Storm looks really rejuvenated. So I am hopeful we're going to get a close one here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that the thing for Tempo Storm, the disparages between what they were stage 1 and now stage 2 is just that team play. They look so much more coordinated. We don't see so many solo things happening around the map. And overall, they've had really, really good showings on both offense and defense. I'm really happy with the squad and what they've done.
Yeah, as am I. Now, don't forget, you can vote on our community vote. This one is going to be, there's 2 MVPs, and we got one match here. Which player will outshine the other between creators and Bolo? That's the big question we've got for this match. And I think we got a pretty exciting one between those two. Both those players have been really standing out as of late, of course. It was not so long ago when Bolo actually started his professional career relative to some of these other players. And it's kind of impressive how quickly he's risen.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, right now he's got the highest rating in the entire league. I believe right now he's sitting at a 1.57, while his creators is sitting at a 1.32. So it's looking overall like these two were made to clash today. Bolo, I think the weirdest thing about him right now for stage 2 kicks, his most played defender is Goyo.
Yeah, it is a little bit weird, right? I mean, it's in line with the meta, though, right? Because the meta right now is just, you need to bring a lot of destruction, you need to bring a lot of stuns, you need to bring a lot of layers to chip through all of the different things the defense is going to be bringing. Goyo shields are one of those things. The simple fact that Goyo brings 2 shields instead of just 1 is absolutely massive. On top of that, he's a 2 armor 2 speed, very versatile. Vector's a decent gun, and he gets a C4. I mean, he's got a well-rounded kit. And I think that's just TSM having a particular game plan. Delay as long as possible. Sensible in this current meta. It might be that we'll see Tempo Storm actually bring out operator bans to directly counter that. Not necessarily countering Goyo, but maybe Wamai to remove some of the soak.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think that another operator we're going to be seeing a lot, well, a possibility that we could see removed from this matchup is Melusi. We've been seeing her so often, and if any of you guys have been checking in on the stats of any of the players throughout the entirety of Stage 2 just yet, you'll notice Melusi is up there a lot, and she's an extremely pivotal operator as well, with the account that she not only slows down you moving into the site, but she also carries so much utility, and she's a 3-speed.
Yeah, I think the 3-speed is the little cherry on top, isn't it? You know, you get the best operator speed you possibly can. But that's just one thing to consider for this match. And you know, all of these players are going to be, I think, a tip-top shape today. We've got a really exciting one to actually get underway with, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Map number 1, Clubhouse. TSM will be starting on defense. Tempo Storm starting on attack. As such, TSM will lead off the bans, getting rid of their first attacker. Now, we've been seeing the bans be very different in Stage 2 when compared to Stage 1, and I think this is as a result of the new operators coming into play.
Oh, I completely agree with you, especially with this man right here, Ace. He's so powerful. He's actually the strongest hard breach, I believe, that we have access to right now, except for Maverick, obviously, because he doesn't have a counter. But Ace can do multiple walls all at the same time with those Selma charges. He has such an impact inside of a round.
Yeah, you could call Ace the most versatile of hard destructors. Now, he can get less drops than Habana, but he can open up much larger holes. And I think that makes him, in general, a little bit more powerful. But the two are often compared to each other. Now, it really depends on what you're trying to use the tool for. 2 hard destructors banned out and the Wamai. This is going to be a very grid-locky map. And what I mean by that is you've just gotten rid of many of the major hard destructors. You're getting rid of the Wamai, which is going to encourage more utility to be brought to soak up those explosives. The Kaid is a saving grace ban there. I think that that's really important given the 2 attacker bans, because it's going to make hard destruction much more accessible. The overall ban phase here, I think, looks like it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to attack. That's the vibe I'm getting right now.
Oh, absolutely, especially with the Kaid coming in. I mean, the Kaid ban, as you said, it's not the biggest thing, especially since Thatcher's on the board. Like, Thatcher deals with him very, very easily. No, but overall, the ban's definitely leaning towards the offense. But now we're jumping into rounds, folks. First one up for TSM on their defense, and we're headed to Gym Bedroom. We're already seeing that Goyo pick come out, 6 picking off of that Oryx.
Attackers need to locate and
so,
defuse as many bombs.
I think that's a smart 6 pick. The Oryx is, you know, he's versatile as an individual, but he does not contribute much to the group. Now, if you take a look at this lineup, as you can see, there are 3 different operators that are going to be contributing chunks of utility that need explosives to dispatch. You got your Evil Eyes on Maestro, your Goyo shields on Geo, surprisingly, instead of Bolo. And you've got the Melusi on Achieved, who made it through the ban phase. So lots of stuff that needs to be destroyed. On the attacking side right now, we've got 2 sets of nades, or actually just 1 set of nades and the Zofia. So those EMPs are going to need to work double duty. Otherwise, Tempo's not going to be able to chew through all of this utility.
Well, Tempo Storm now on the field, so we'll see what they think about this. Gym Bedroom obviously going to be that first site once again. TSM just wrapping up some odds and ends inside of sight. As of right now, Tempo just trying to figure some things out. This isn't the typical starting point for Clubhouse, but since most of the sites are playable, all except for Barstock, which we don't see too often, they're more than likely going to drone out the top floor and see exactly what's going on.
That drone-out game is going to take some time. Bolo is going to try and poke at the attackers to slow them down as he plays over by Nublu. Dream's already made his way onto the catwalk. Let's confront Achieved later on. Look at that mirror window, though. Achieved is going to have some versatility in this engagement. He's got those holes above. He can either impact. Yep, it seems like he's going to try an impact trick. Or if he had a C4, he could have used that to try and get a kill inside of server. But right now, he's just going to try to delay as long as possible. All right, those Habana Xcaros will detonate. The impact can only get the top set. Second impact to save the mirror window, but it misses 1 pellet. And as the hole gets opened up, so too will the mirror window. So lots of damage done there with these Habanas. And only 2 impacts in the pocket means that Dream can open up more holes here. And that's going to be very dangerous for Achieved. In a bit, he'll start getting pressured through those holes. They can shoot under this little island at his feet. And he cannot rotate as Dream is cutting him off. It's even worse as Mark gets the nade from below. Achieved goes down in the first frag for Tempo.
Masterfully done by Tempo Storm there to lock down Achieved and use that frag grenade from underneath to kill him instead of taking the heads-up gunfight, especially with these Banshees that they have laying around. But Dream crawls in and gets rid of one of those. Getting later into the round now, only 1 minute and 10 seconds remain, so TSM has wasted quite a bit of time, and we still have Bolo on a possible rotation. He's all the way at the bottom of main right now, but he could always dip back upstairs in case TSM needs any help on site.
Right now, it's a little bit of the calm before the storm. TSM just waiting out the clock. Dream will eat a lot of damage from that C4, but not enough to kill him. It actually also destroys some barbed wire, so a little bit of utility lost there for the defense, but not enough to note. Over in Office, Crazy will get Geo. That's a huge pick. It means logistics is an option for the attack, and another one for Tempo as they start to launch their assault onto the site. Good spot there in the Maestro, but the gunfight is won by Chala miraculously. That's the only one in recent history, though, for TSM. They've been struggling to retain control of their site. The only advantage is the time, but as Crazy begins to plant, that time might not matter. The reload for Chala is lengthy, and he's not able to deny that plant inside of A. The final 2 kills for Tempo, and round number 1 goes to the Storm.
Almost a flawless one there from Tempo Storm. Great pacing, especially over on the cash side. Took their time, used the info game to know exactly what Achieve was doing inside, and used the X-Kairos properly on the wall to make sure that they couldn't get impact tricked. There was a lot of positive things there for Tempo Storm, but also there was a lot of weight that TSM carried. Granted, it wasn't inside of the gunfights, but their delay inside of cash was actually really, really good. It really fell down to what happened inside of construction once Tempo was trying to gain control to get that diffuser down.
Get that diffuser down. They did indeed. Those early picks, though, I mean, so monumental in that round's outcome. And I think the lack of response from TSM was questionable. But there's also to be considered the layers, the depth of the Tempo attack. I really love the way that we saw everything mechanically correctly executed there from Tempo Storm. And they had a cherry on top, specifically over by Cash. When they're trying to take Cash, normally that it can be a little bit of a gridlock. It can take some extra time. But because of the nade from below, they were able to get the kill quite early. And you could tell it was rehearsed from Tempo. They knew exactly what they were trying to accomplish on that pick. They opened the wall, forcing the defender inside a cache to play one specific location, thus making the nade deadly accurate. Well done there for Tempo Storm. And if they're able to methodically execute like that, moving forward onto the much more difficult sites here to attack, then I think it's a good future for the attack phase of Tempo Storm.
Well, let's see how they fare facing off against the basement defense. TSM bringing some new toys downstairs that we don't get to have too much fun with too often, specifically the Mira on Chala kicks. I like this pickup, not exactly for the basement for the most part, but haven't really seen what they've done with it. Yes, okay, so it's going to be, well, typically what you'd expect. We're going to place one on Church Wall, see exactly where he's put the other one. I actually don't see it right now, but he's most definitely used it. Oh, he's actually put it inside of Blue facing Oil Pit.
Yep, that's a very powerful mirror window there. It gains you not necessarily control of Blue, but leverage, if you will, and an advantage in any engagements by Blue. Further, if the attack is to break it, they'll need to also make a hole in the wall. And if they do that, then that makes it more difficult for the attack to push into Blue because the defenders in Armory will have a new line of sight onto those attackers. So no matter what, strong mirror window there for the defense. Now, right now, the mirror windows are a factor, but the primary focus for TSM is the roam.
Yeah, I really like how they supported this as well. Bolo, Achieved, and Merc all helping this out just a little bit. Tempo seems to want to play with it as well, as they're actually upstairs right now trying to figure out exactly how they can deal with these roamers. They have the middle of the map handled now, Creator standing inside of Bar, and typically on those roams, that's where you'd see Moto Hatch popped, but TSM not running anything along those lines today. They'd much rather try and force their way down Secret, but they've already been cut off from the Bar connector. They have to hop back upstairs and try and make a rotation to Oil Pit.
Well, that rotation is solid here, and they're going to make... Both of them are going to make it back, just as the bullets start flying through the wall. So nice and safe and snug. They'll return to the site. And assuming the drop down's not opened up, they should be clear. Yes, indeed, that is the case. Tempo not able to get their early pick this time around, but that's understandable, given that this is a basement defense.
Well, bar hatch now open, more than likely going to focus on kitchen now as Tempo Storm, but some utility being thrown at them. Mark taking quite a bit of HP as well from that nitro cell as he continues his work on the main kitchen hall, breaking up that flooring, looking down into TSM's setup. Not very much time remains though, as they need to try and get a game plan set up on where this diffuser is going to go down. One of the frag grenades dedicated from Mark, but it's actually going to be Creators with the first strike onto Chala, as I believe he gets that through that vertical. Actually, no, all the way from Secrets as he's working his way down the staircase right now. Tempo's got a firm grip around the site. They just need to squeeze.
Nice pick there on Tabolo. TSM looking not lethal at all. Now, there is one there for Merc onto the C4, but Tempo is keeping up the frags. 2-on-2, and for some reason, Merc's looking the wrong way. A triple for Creators inside of blue. Achieved, able to get one. That's Creators down. No more kills for him. And on the 000, he just needs to push into Armory. There it is. The denial on the plant. Achieved, saves it, and TSM get their first round.
Well, the Mira on B1 actually works, so that's pretty cool. Ended up working out for them as the execute went down through blue. Granted, Merc not looking the right way once Creators actually pushed into the door, but it didn't seem to matter. Achieved had everything handled. What a great defense from TSM, especially with that roam game, delaying quite a bit of time, and they made it out practically unscathed. They almost ran into one obstacle, but were able to dip, dive, dash, and dodge out of that one. So it looks like for TSM, we're headed to CCTV now as they just claimed their first defensive round.
It's early yet for both teams, but what we're getting already so far from this engagement is a nice, even split of talent between these two. I am definitely detecting that Tempo have put a lot of work into the attacks that they're bringing out here. That last round was quite interesting. The blue execution was a little bit strangled, but I love how even though Tempo looked like they were being forced into lanes they weren't comfortable in, they were not relenting with their engagements, with their forcing the fights. That's impressive stuff from Tempo. Many teams get dissuaded when they don't know what they're up to, where the path is not clear, and they'll start slowing down, but not Tempo Storm.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you're going to execute, you just got to go at it 100%. No, there's no, doing it halfway. You might as well try and do whatever you can in order to force that situation into your favor, even if there is some unknowing factors.
And we have seen no half measures from either team so far. Though TSM has had a little bit of a different story. I mean, yeah, they're not bringing half measures, but I'm noticing a distinct lack of aggression from TSM on the defensive half, and actually, I think that's giving a good position to Tempo. It seems like TSM is playing a delay game, which is sensible on Clubhouse, especially with these attacker bans. I mean, look at that, Ace and Maverick. I don't know, that's a smart strategy for the defense, but I don't know that it's working so well because Tempo Storm seem to be aware of it and countering it fairly well.
And we are also going to see some change up here from Tempo Storm. Dream now onto the Monty, and he's bringing the secondary hard breach as well, so we could see some action from that, possibly used on the garage. Obviously, Kaid is banned, so those panels not going to help as much as they regularly would. I also think we actually have a missing reinforcement on the bottom of the garage as well inside of one of those panels. Yeah, we do actually. Mark's going to go up and smack it right now. This is a very peculiar one, but they also have a Banshee here, so that's telling me that this is more than likely on purpose.
Yeah, it's either a bait, and also they want to avoid the right panel being opened and instead let that left panel be opened, which is smart because it gives you a better angle to defend as a defender. Or B, they made a mistake. And now I don't know what it is. They did reinforce the workshop wall, which is uncommon in this meta. But, TSM will keep their secrets. We'll just speculate. Now, the main server wall gets opened up here, and that's going to make TSM consider the potential for a push in there, though it's unlikely at this moment. Dream is going to be bringing the Montaigne to force out Rafters, and this is the ideal operator for this exact setup right here. Gas canister is detonating somewhere. Oh, he missed it. He hit the light fixture in garage and a waste of a gas canister as a result. That's truly unfortunate there. Chala, though, is throwing from the top of red, so you can't really blame him.
Absolutely not. That's a very, very long pass. Geo now inside of R2 has Dream to deal with, but nobody else with him. Bolo downstairs runs out of bar connector and bags 2. Mark and Jarvis both down, but Crazy gets the refrag. Not onto Bolo though. It will be achieved. TSM still have garage control as well, so this leaves them off in a really, really good situation.
Montaigne getting ever closer to the Valkyrie. Aggression here from Chala. There goes the Valkyrie inside of Garage. Crazy supporting Dream, and now Raptors control well in hand for Tempo Storm. They'll start their push onto the site. They have to deal with the Malusi gadget there, and it'll be easy for Dream as he walks up to it with the shield. Gas canister might even kill Crazy as he stands in it, but no, escapes with a sliver of HP, only to be felled by Merc. Dream ADSing onto Chala will kill the player at top red, and it's now all on the Montaigne as Merc gets a 3rd kill. There it is, the cleanup, and TSM will secure their 2nd round.
Very strong defense there. And as you were notating earlier, TSM playing that delay game, but then Bolo just throwing the fastball right past them. They weren't ready for it. They thought it was going to keep being, you know, the little slider ball. This time came with some heat and got a huge impact on that round. That's exactly what TSM needed to get the ball rolling, especially, you know, paired with that delay. The aggression coming out at random times is really difficult to deal with.
You know, and that's the thing. That aggression was exactly what I was saying was missing from the TSM lineup in the first 2 rounds. It seemed like they were a little too passive, affording a little bit too much opportunity to Tempo, but it's possible that was a bait and switch, and we've just seen the switch. Because Bolo with that run out on front door, that is a ballsy run out. It does not always get met with success. However, it's possible TSM was lulling Tempo into a false sense of security by playing as slow as they had been playing in the first 2 rounds. Now, I'm not so sure. Maybe we're reading too far into it. But at the same time, the pacing for TSM, no matter how you look at it, has been not necessarily ideal, but certainly very strong over these first 3 rounds as a whole.
Yeah, and looking at the other side of the coin for Tempo Storm, they've kept the same pace no matter what. We typically see them really working the execute under that 30-second timer, as well as working the map before that, obviously. For quite some time, they do a good job of roam clearing, making sure that they know where these TSM members are. There isn't very many missteps. The biggest misstep that they've had so far was that run out from Bolo, but it didn't really seem that they had the means to gather that info. So overall, Tempo's attacks have been very, very solid, which I think is why TSM has been forced to try and switch these things up.
As you can see, some holes being made there in the floor. That can allow for impact tracking as well. It's a little bit different, but it works well on this particular wall. And they're also going to open up above, so you can do it either way. Chibi will have options. That way, he doesn't have to worry about Habana Scaros on the lower part of the wall. That's a free pick there for Creators. I don't think he was even expecting it, but Geo will walk into the line of sight of Creators on the drop. Achieve, though, gets aggressive in server. He will be refragged, but at least he's putting Tempo on check, not letting the, well, Tempo get out of control in both senses.
Well, Tempo Storm working on cash right now. They've already felled 2 members of TSM after Achieve just ran into CCTV and ended up picking up Dream. Gonna be down some hard destruction, but they still have Crazy to be able to assist. Work with a possible kill here, but that Zophia's actually outside, so please don't toss that C4 just yet. Tempo still doing a very good job of keeping this drone economy up and alive. Creators Jarvis and Crazy still all having their drones. Mark using his earlier on to assist inside of the CCTV and cash room area. So I'd say Tempo's making pretty good pace.
Yeah, they're doing a great job so far, and they do still retain that man advantage. Half the round almost to go. I mean, yeah, they're going to drone. They're going to establish the identities and locations of their last few opposing operators. And the execution should be pretty straightforward from there for Tempo Storm. Unless TSM gets aggro and picks up a kill or 2. You can see there's a flank being attempted here at the top of red stairs, but Tempo is well aware of it. Bolo trying to work some magic. And actually, the 2 players trying to contain him have rotated over to the site push. Does Tempo think he left? Because Bolo hasn't. Merc will get a C4 kill onto Mark, who is trying to play over by the workshop door. There's one for Bolo on the flank, and a second for Bolo. Chala cleans it up as he pushes Logi, and TSM, against many odds, will pick up the round.
Amazing plays here from TSM. Bolo with that late rotation all the way to the top of red stairs. We both thought that they had their eyes on him, but apparently not. There was nothing there to know that Bolo was just lying in wait. All of a sudden, TSM get aggressive and pinch out Tempo Storm. They're not ready for that. And TSM claims yet another round on defense. Very strong stuff. I like how they're messing with the pacing and throwing these curveballs at Tempo Storm to see how they're going to react.
It's certainly working out fairly well here for TSM, yeah. I was a little bit worried at the first 2 rounds. We saw Tempo take it, and then TSM almost lose on their basement defense. Because it looked like TSM was just too passive. Like they were just getting a little bit distant from the actual match. But we've seen over the last few rounds a complete shift from TSM's mentality. And their ability to really dominate these rounds has established itself in no small part thanks to Bolo.
Absolutely not. And TSM overall having a great showing, even though, you know, Geo not having the most fun right now, 0-2 and 4, but that doesn't mean that he hasn't had any impact over the game. That's the beauty of Rainbow Six. You don't get counts for your utility. It's only the KDA, unfortunately. So TSM overall, great showing so far, but we got some new toys on Tempo's side. Dream picking up the Blitz. This is something that we usually see picked up by, well, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mince on Dark Zero, which they didn't have the best time earlier on today, but this is definitely going to be paying a little bit of homage towards him. Let's see how Dream handles this.
Well, he's been playing the Montaigne, and it really hasn't been working out well for him. I think that he's just looking for a little bit more lethality, and that makes sense. Dream is the type of Montaigne player who wants to actually get the kills, who wants to win the engagements head-to-head by himself, and I think Blitz is a better operator to do just that. Now, as you can see, it's a strip take, which is odd. You know what? Honestly, Stokes, can you say as confidently as I can that strip has almost been non-existent in club meta for the last, well, since the rework?
Absolutely. No one even roams club anymore. I mean, you really only see every once in a while that somebody will dip on over there, mainly because no one else plays there. So Tempo Storm going for this full clear. Bolo walks in unbeknownst to everyone else, but Creators with a nice crouch bounce recovers, ends up tapping Bolo right in the head. Not going to lay too much time, though. Bolo thought he was going to win that initial engagement, but it goes awry. Although, across the map, we are going to have a nice pickup here from Merc onto Jarvis. Great refrag as well. That's the Thatcher off the board. All of these electronics now stay alive.
It's big pick indeed. TSM, once again, unrelenting since about round 3, really. Now, in that head-to-head we talked about, Bolo versus Creators. Right now, Creators is coming out on top. Of course, this is a potentially 3-map series. It's best of 3. So, there's plenty of time to change that. L85 will give away the position there of the sledge, Mark, and Merc will fall back all the way into Armory, trying to protect himself, and will continue to wait out this clock as he's on defense.
Well, with only a minute left, Tempo Storm setting up for this execute. You guys just heard the last exothermic charge go off from Crazy. He blows open Moto Hatch. Doesn't seem like they're too worried about anything else, obviously, since they only have Crazy as their hard breach. So now it's down to the gunfights. We'll see exactly how these go. Some drones in sight get eliminated from Chala. Some more utility is poured in. They still have Dream alive as well, who could be of big assistance here since he does have that shield in front of him. He can do exactly this, just rush them down since he cannot get shot from the front, all except for his shoulder. But when you got multiple angles like that, you're more than likely going to lose Dream. You can't just walk at him. Lots of damage pouring in now onto Tempo Storm as every single one of these avenues, all except for the Kool-Aid Rush, could possibly work out. Crazy with the refrag onto Merc, and Creators continuing to hold the cross.
Great control here for Crazy as he will start his plant shortly. But Creators goes down, so now he has no cover. He'll have to pick up these kills by himself. And no! He shoots his teammate who picked himself up. Achieved will finish off Crazy. A huge miscommunication for Tempo Storm. And TSM will say thank you very much.
Oh, honey, no. That's your teammate. That's your teammate right there. That's just so unfortunate. That seemed like they almost got it to go as well, Michael. They walked right in the Kool-Aid wall and just started throwing the diffuser down. Got the pick that they needed. They had the cross established, so there wasn't too much there to worry about, all except for a rotation, possibly, well, that we saw later on, from the Malusi coming through Moto. That was truly the only thing that could have stopped them except for a random wall bang. And then all of a sudden, Tempo they just killed themselves. That is the craziest ending to a round I've seen in quite some time.
So, of course, for those of you who don't know, Zofia, as an operator, is the only operator in the game who can pick themselves up from the floor. If they are downed, Zofia's can just hold down a key and they'll be back into action. And, of course, the miscommunication, the confusion that happened there for Crazy is that he's thinking, all right, my teammate is down. I need to go for the frags. I have no other option. So Crazy, with the diffuser in hand, goes for an aggressive push towards the hallway, sees somebody moving to his right, assuming it's a 1v3, flicks it immediately, and kills his teammate. He forgot Zofia can pick themselves up. Now, if in an alternative reality, Crazy remembers that Zofia can do that, he would have waited for it to happen, started a plant behind actually the main bomb island in the B bomb site, and then creators would have been up and at him, ready to cover and allow for that plant to go down. And then we could have easily seen Tempo take that round, but it, I guess, is not to be.
Apparently not, but Tempo still has to finish out this match, even though that was just a very unlucky altercation there. Seems that they're going to be able to get the CCTV wall for practically free here. Well, there is no denial ran by TSM. They much rather just play for the wall open, and I can't blame them. Trying to dance back and forth with that wall is just, stopping the inevitable. So they'd much rather handle it in some different way. TSM mostly focused on site, all except for Achieve now, who's actually playing off. Usually we've been seeing Bolo in this position, but it's now Achieved downstairs inside of Secret.
Now, remember, those EMPs only disable. They do not destroy anymore. So the timing on using them is important. And the timing seems to be all right here, as the lifeline impact will go straight on into the site and open up the wall. This is going to give good line of sight for the player all the way in Kennel spawn onto Merc, who's actually challenging the angle. Honestly, the balls on this man. He's got a magnification disadvantage, and he just doesn't care.
The Alda can do anything, Kix. You got to remember that. 81 bullets, you can't miss that many times, So, Xkyros get eliminated for Dream here, as he's going to put on another set. Going to have to put him a little bit lower, unless he wants him impact tricked again. But actually, no, I believe that they've sledged the wall and put him inside. Another impact tricked out. And yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's actually going to get the second set, which I believe is from below if they have the hatch open. But no, yet another set are eliminated, and that's exactly what it was. Bolo rotated and used the hatch in order to destroy those.
It might be Geo who's been shooting them from below, because we haven't been hearing the explosive, but whatever it is, it's been working. Last-ditch effort here, and it works out. There's no one to deny the exothermic charge, and now Workshop Wall and Server Wall are both open. This affords a great pinch opportunity to Tempo, and considering this is still a 5v5, it strongly favors the attack. Make it a 5v4 as Geo goes down. A good pick there for creators.
Oh, some bigger picks come in now, but Merc's still alive with that absolute chainsaw of a weapon. She picks up one as well, evening the man count. Only 34 seconds remain for Tempo Storm to do anything, and they need this round desperately. They've rotated the Thermite over to the CCTV window, but Merc still playing patiently inside of the cash room. TSM very patient here, still playing around the red stairs right now as they're going to pick up two big frags. They know the last remaining members right outside the breach as he swings back and forth. Merc works his way in, picks up Jarvis, and TSM 5-1 on the split.
Now, a brief reminder here, everyone. Tempo Storm were the team to pick Clubhouse. And right now, it's not looking like a solid pick for Tempo. Now, we've always mentioned how this is decisively a defender-favored map, especially when you have bands like Ace and Maverick. That renders it incredibly defender-favored. However, it hasn't been too much of a problem for the attack so far in terms of utility. The main issue is on the execution. A great example is that last round. I mean, if we take a look at it, take a step back, 5v5, Workshop Wall open, Server Wall open, the advantage is in favor of the attack, especially considering the fact that Tempo had plenty of time. And the fact that Tempo still couldn't win in that kind of a scenario does not bode well for their chances in the future of this map. Now, luckily, Tempo gets to switch now onto defense, and that is going to be a much more comfortable spot for Tempo Storm.
Well, we'll have to see if it's their saving grace or possibly their damning, but I gotta agree with you on all fronts right there. Tempo Storm, with especially both those walls being open, that's the biggest thing. And the factor about that is, right, is that when you have both those walls open, there's no room to move in sight. And I think that that's the thing that a lot of people miss, is especially on CCTV, when you have the, you know, plat wall open as well as construction, there's no safety. The only safe haven is the top of red stairs, and that's usually where everyone is corralled. So Tempo Storm has, you know, the site practically for free. There's anywhere to really to put a diffuser down, especially after you get those initial picks, but you just have to force people to move, and that's exactly what they didn't do. They were just moving back and forth on the windows, hoping that TSM would mess up, when actually TSM played that so well.
Yeah, they did indeed. Now, it's the patented SSG basement defense clubhouse top floor roam. What a mouthful, but that's what we're seeing here for Tempo Storm. And they're going to be doing their best to delay the clear as long as possible. That is the real focus of the roam on the basement. It's not to win off-site, though that has happened. It is to delay and soak up utility to make the execution that will inevitably come on the site that much more difficult for the attack.
Yeah, and looking into the SSG roam, usually we see a lot of teams try and focus on a blue dirt take to try and counteract it very quickly, because all of these members have to get back to site. So when you are addressing it in this way and you're going into billiards from strip, what is usually the game plan here? Is it just to try and cut off the rotations from those roamers?
I mean, you've got a couple options, right? You could either pinch the roamers and try to get picks, though that's unlikely to happen. These roamers have direct and understood routes that they've planned and practiced around so that they get back to the site safely. As you can see, you know, it's happening right now. They're going to go ahead and fall back at a decided time, a decided time that was practiced earlier. So, or your other option is to, as you said, go for a more direct take on the site. Tempo Storm have tried to pinch the roamers, and they have failed. The roamers have now made it to what is considered a safe spot, and now have direct access to the site, and will be able to get nice and comfortable on the site. Roamer's job accomplished. They've delayed. So we just saw over those first 2 minutes, Tempo Storm win a decisive victory, even though no shot was fired directly at one player or another. Creators did take some damage, but we're just going to forget about that.
I think that last 30 seconds is the perfect definition of Rainbow Six. Hey, we didn't shoot anything, but we still somehow won the round. Granted, we just stood around and then, rotated back to site a little bit later on.
Right.
You know, it's all about the depth. So Tempo Storm has made themselves, sprinted all the way back to site here. TSM now knocking on the door as they're working themselves in through Moto, but the Banshee's going off. They have to know he's here. And yes, Creators picks up 2 big kills on the Merc and Geo. Both the hard destructors down. It means no more walls can possibly get open, even if they wanted to right now. But they need to get this execute to go off. And yet again, actually, Bolo, he's worked himself down into blue, and he's going to make a big pickup onto Mark. He still sees 2 members at the back of the armory as Chala's worked his way into AK. Chala with another big kill, and Achieve pours in for 1. Dream with the nitro cell, but he's going to have to do double duty here. Achieve throwing down the diffuser. He has no idea where Chala is, but he kills him. Almost gets away, but Chala quick on the draw with the pistol, takes down Dream. TSM continue on their reign.
What a hero play from Chala. Barely saving it. If the eagle eyes among you will notice, 1 second left on that clock. It could have gone either way, but boy, oh boy, was that a close one. Still won by TSM. I'm impressed. Gio's impressed with himself, rightfully so. A huge round from everyone on TSM. Wait, was Gio the guy who was proning in through Moto door? Am I crazy? Yeah, he didn't do anything.
He didn't do a damn thing.
He didn't do anything. You are crazy though, Gio. You're insane for sure. Does he still not have any kills?
I don't think he has any kills. No.
You're crazy, though, Gio. You're nuts. It's all right. You're nuts. He's just having one of those matches. They happen.
They happen to all of us. And I think that's something that we don't get to talk about too often either. You know, like when it comes down to being that support player, you have to go through a lot of crap. You have to go through so much, especially on site where you're practically fighting a war every single round. If you guys have not experienced this for yourself before, go play some smoke. Sit inside a site. Wait for all the utility to get thrown at you and see what these people have to go through. It is not the funnest experience. That's exactly why Geo is not having the greatest amount of time right now. What's up?
I think you're confused, Stokes, because you tell them to go play smoke, and I mean, they might go play smoke, but play it in a comp environment is very different, because they're probably going to play smoke, and they'll be on the other side of the map trying to roam.
They're going to be in strip club. That's what
they're going to be in strip club. Enjoying the sights because I mean, I guess that's what they do. I don't. It's you got to understand the structure, and then it makes sense. But yeah, it's been a really rough match for Geo. However, I don't think that really lies on his shoulders. These kinds of matches happen to everyone, and they're also happening to Jarvis right now. So there you go. Or it is happening to Jarvis, I should say. English is hard, man.
It really is, especially when you gotta talk for so long, but it's still so much fun. As TSM sitting at map point right now. Don't worry, folks, if they do end up winning this round, we still have another map to go through, so don't move off that browser just yet. Tempo Storm, very similar defense here, all except for the Bandit coming in as well as the Rook from Mark. So it seems as though Tempo wants to try and dance with the devil that is the CCTV wall, and they're more than likely going to lose out. And that's the Exkyros going off right now, or excuse me, Exothermic Charge going off right now, as the wall's been open for TSM despite Dream's best efforts.
Exkyros are being set up on the garage wall, and they will detonate as well. So control established on the two walls. TSM knows what they're going for. It's a garage server take, and it's working out fairly well so far. Geo also has an exothermic charge left, though, so he can either commit that to the garage wall or go over to Workshop and open up another prong to this attack. Not entirely necessary, but an option nonetheless. TSM droning their way into the garage. Merc will go for the entry. This has been called out, and now the player on Raptors will be aware. Very dangerous prospect for both players, but the Capital Firebolts make this much easier, and in fact, they will result in the death of Mark. Raptors control established for the attack, and now they need to solidify it by pushing up the stairs. That is another task in of itself, as this has got line of sight galore from the site, but none of that is used by the defense. And Merc is allowed to highway himself up to 90 on Raptors and establish a good position to execute for the plant. The second exothermic charge might be used on Raptors' wall to make easier access for the attack, and further to make it so the C4s that are thrown by the defense to go far and not deny the plant behind the rack.
Oh, these are some huge picks coming out for TSM. It's a 5v2 right now, and the utility count for the offense is so in their favor. They have every single means to win this round. Even Bolo taking out Geo is not going to be too big of a deal. Merc kills Chala as well, as this appears to be all in fun. Let's make some people see GGs not look so good once they look at those later. Crazy does still have all of his toxic babes, but I don't know how much that's going to assist him. Are they even watching this? This could possibly be a toss, but hey, Bolo doesn't miss. TSM 7-1 on Clubhouse.
Okay, we're seeing a little bit of good halves here coming out. There you go. Okay, yay, Chala. We saw at least one. Creators will throw in too. And I think a big reason why maybe we're seeing the chat be so brisk is because, well, the map was so brisk. That was one of the most one-sided matches we've seen in a long time, and I'm actually surprised because the first two rounds did not look one-sided. In fact, Tempo played very well in those first two rounds. But around, I guess it was round 3, everything just kind of fell apart for Tempo Storm.
Yeah, TSM abusing a lot of different things. Like inside of that last round especially, Tempo still had a decent man count. There was no real huge picks that had happened yet. Granted, they did have the initial one, so it was that 5v4, but there was still so much utility that TSM had, or excuse me, Tempo Storm had at their disposal to handle a lot of these situations. And they just lost these gunfights from TSM, forcing some weird stuff, I will admit, like, walking right up red stairs and killing Valkyrie. But at that point in time, you're already at a 5v2, so you might as well close off that, means of travel. Overall, this was just TSM messing with Tempo's mind on all fronts.
Yep. But without further ado, so we can move things along, we're going to go to a short break, and we'll be back shortly.
Welcome back. I'm Jackie Jing with Veli and Jesse, and TSM clobbering on Clubhouse, beating Tempo. Let's look at the highlights, Veli. I'm like, ooh, I'm kind of cringing still after that one, to be honest.
Actually, I think that entire map lasted as long as these highlights. I'm gonna be completely honest. I hyped up Tempo. Like I believe in Tempo, and a lot of people do, rightfully so, right? But moments like this, Merc just dominating with Maestro. It seems like every time we switched to Merc, he was in that same stupid little corner with Maestro, getting a 3K. Like Merc had 10 kills before the half. Like Jesse, I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, this was a really weird map, really bad for Tempo, obviously. I mean, it's 7-1, I don't gotta say that more than once, but you'll notice a lot of these kills happening in the last, like, 20-30 seconds of the rounds. That's kind of how this plays, but particularly in this matchup, I mean, it was quite slow at the start, and then sort of always just evolved into TSM slaying Tempo Storm. So that was really kind of awkward to see, but again, it's, like, sad, because this was Tempo Storm's best map last stage, and then they come here, and it's just like, well, they're all falling apart.
Yeah, falling apart is right, and we are bringing up your stats right now. They're
Geo.
on the screen. Oh,
What do you
Geo.
say? I will say this. Jarvis wasn't the worst one in the lobby. Geo did have one more death than him. But still,
Statistically,
Statistically, yeah, you know, gotta give it to him. It happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. It happens. It happens in
happens.
Siege, 100%. Jesse, let's break down both of these teams' coordination. TSM obviously looking very in sync. Tempo couldn't find their tempo.
Well,
come on!
that's the thing.
It was good. It was good.
That was
I
good.
quit. I'm not doing any more puns for the rest of the night.
I laughed.
Thanks.
No.
Yeah, Veli just looked confused. But anyways, but without question, stark difference when it comes in coordination when we're looking at these teams.
Definitely, yeah. And like a lot of these rounds, it seemed like for the first 2 minutes, you know, it was really competitive. There were a lot of rounds where you thought, all right, Tempo Storm's doing pretty well. It's a 4-on-4, it's a 3-on-3, it's a 5-on-5, whatever it might be. It's pretty even, maybe a slight advantage for the attackers because they got some good utility opening up. And then it would just get to, oh, and then one more dead, and then they're dead, there's team kills, and they're all gone every single time. And it seemed like, you know, part of that is because of the map. It's largely because of the map and the bans, honestly. The way Clubhouse plays out, particularly with the bans the way that they were, it's going to be slow, and it's going to, you know, rely on this 20-second meta that we hear a lot. And that's definitely what we saw today. And, you know, TSM, they were winning most of these rounds because when they got to that hectic fight, whether it was 3-on-3, 4-on-4, or 5-on-5, they all just knew where each other were playing and where their opponents were. It seemed like information flowed so fluidly between players that if you know somebody's here, I know he's there. And the comms looked really, really good. It's hard to tell comms sometimes, but just how in sync these players were, it's clear that things were flowing really, really well in TSM. And so you got to give the whole team credit for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Veli, it's kind of funny. Jesse was saying that there were points where you're like, okay, Tempo. Like, you know, we were like kind of rooting for him. And actually, Tempo's attack, first round, it was fantastic. That was it, though.
I jinxed
that was
him.
it.
I jinxed him. So the very first round, it was actually shocking. Not shocking, but it was exciting to see. The way Tempo approached fights, especially against Achieved and Cash, they put themselves in position to get kills without being able to be shot. You saw them use nades, open up walls, do that very strategically. They got rid of some of the best players on TSM that way. Okay, then after that, I see them bring out shield players. We saw Monty's, we saw Blitz. I'm like, okay, this is genius now, you know? Have Big Boy go out in front as a drone, and you have people behind him getting picks, cutting off rotations, and getting wins. It didn't work out that way. We saw Monty on Rafters, and it looked uncoordinated. It looked kind of sloppy. There was really no one there to help him out with the refrags or just being aggressive. And then the moment they did take over CCTV, you had Merc in a corner. Merc took advantage of Crazy and then got a 3K once Monty went back around the cache. I thought he was going to block the doorway. Blitz comes out after that, shortly after. Then you see Blitz just run into a 1v2 and gets bodied in church. The ideas were there, the execution weren't. This team, obviously, they have more things that they need to get better at. Yes, that was a terrible performance, but you could see that at the end of the rounds, it was really close. We saw 3v3s, we saw 2v2s. This wasn't as big as a blowout as the scores say, in my personal opinion. I still think that Tempo could have done a lot better, but this is a best of 3. They have a chance.
They have a chance,
Yeah.
Veli being positive here. But
I'm trying.
I know, I appreciate it. We love it. Let's get to our community poll result, though. The question was, which player will outshine the other in today's matchup? Bolo or
Jarvis.
creators.
Oh.
You put Bolo in a Twitter poll and expect him to lose?
Exactly. It was pretty crushing
That's
here.
expected.
Bolo got 84%, creators got 16%. But all right, gentlemen, really quickly, final thoughts before we move into map 2. Veli, you have some hope, you said.
If Crazy could shoot the other team like he does his teammates, yo, TSM stands no chance. No, honestly, it looks like TSM is going to roll with this. This is looking like a 2-0 unless Tempo, they rack up some wins in a row in the beginning.
Okay, Jesse?
Yeah, this should be a 2-0, I think. TSM really like this map. It's their pick. They should roll over Tempo Storm easy peasy.
So, okay. Do you all think that this was a fluke with Tempo Storm, like what we saw last week, or is just TSM just so dominant?
No, what we saw just now, not to discredit anything TSM did, Tempo just didn't play that well together. The rounds were close. They did what was necessary at times, but in crucial moments, they choked it away. Like I said, some of the rounds ended in those 2v2s and 3v3s. They had an equal opportunity to win those rounds, same way TSM did.
Right, and like that's the thing is a lot of those rounds ended in 2v2s and 3v3s, and it's just the fact that like if you don't have more coordination than your opponent in that situation, you're gonna lose. So it's sort of the same mistake that in most games and most maps, it's a small factor that leads to the whole thing. But in this matchup, the way the bans went, the way the map is, and the way these teams play against each other, that was sort of the whole picture. Like that was the most important thing, and it's just something where TSM totally outranks Tempo Storm on. And I think part of that's because Jarvis is a little bit new to this roster, and you know if he's gonna take a little bit more time to warm up with the rest of the team, that's gonna happen. And so that's one player to account for still. But you know going against TSM, particularly in those coordinated and hectic fights, that's a tough ask for Tempo Storm.
It's tough, especially when Merc is on fire like that.
Oh man, when Merc's on fire, it is just scary. Exactly, that whole squad when they're on fire, just like monsters. It's a team of monsters. So Jesse, you were telling us that like Tempo has Mr. Wolf, right? Like a team psychologist. What is he telling them right now?
Chin up. You know, you got still 2 more maps ahead of you. Forget that. It didn't happen. Go ahead into this next map, of course, Consulate. You can win this one. And it's still, you know, a lot of those rounds were close. So I don't think they should be too discouraged just yet.
Yeah.
Okay, being positive. I like that. Well, yeah, I mean, again, Siege, you never know, gentlemen. So let's get ready for map 2, and we're going to throw it over to our casters, Kicks and Stokes. Take it away, gentlemen.
Oh, man. It's, you know, my favorite part about that whole analyst desk was, like, the defeat in the voice when they said, oh, yeah, some of those rounds were close. Yeah, Jesse, some of them were pretty close, but I don't know. I'm still thinking this is going to be pretty one-sided at this point.
Well, you know, if things were any closer, they would probably be using some Predator products in order to help them, because I think Tempo could really use some Predator products right now, especially this Triton 500 laptop with a 144 hertz frame and some pretty good stuff inside. Make sure you guys go check out Acer for all those Predator laptops. They're beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Kicks, I think you also have one too right now, don't you know?
I do. It has not left the box yet, but I do have it. I think I got the 500. I'm not entirely sure. And yeah, it's a pretty awesome laptop. Now we've got the match ready, and we're gonna go ahead and launch on into it. Tempo will be starting on attack. TSM will be beginning on defense. Now Tempo was given the opportunity to choose which side they wanted to start on because TSM were the ones to pick this map. So Tempo preferring the attack on Consulate. Makes sense. This is a fairly balanced map, all things considered, but I think there's a lot more potential to set the pace overall on the attacking side. And the bans will start out. Nomad will be the first ban by TSM. That's going to facilitate lots and lots of runouts, lots and lots of fights on the outside of the building.
That's exactly what we expect when it comes to Consulate. Everyone on every window, batten down the hatches. We're going to war outside. Thatcher going to follow that up. Not a bad ban at all. Going to limit some things, per se, especially on the garage. Those early entries that we usually see happen when he is on the board more than likely won't happen. They're going to have to get that piano control first to be able to deal with any wall denial.
My once again banned out, and Mira will be the final ban here. Interesting. So we've got Valkyrie, Echo, and Maestro unbanned. That is a very different lineup to what you might expect in this kind of a match, especially on Consulate.
Yeah, especially with the Miraban coming in. She's an operator that sees a lot of uses on a lot of maps, and Consulate's no different, but her usability on Consulate isn't as high as it is, across the spectrum of the maps that we do have inside of our map pool. Most notably, we see her downstairs inside of the security office as well as kitchen, with both those mirrors face out into the garage. We've seen some stuff happen upstairs before, but that was quite some time ago when people, just try to throw mirror everywhere. It doesn't work the best, but maybe we see it. Maybe we don't. We'll have to find out. TSM's going downstairs first. Obviously, no Mira since she's banned, but we will have some Malusi
Attackers
fun.
need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Now,
Bomb located by attackers.
as you can see, the Maestro is going to be a major factor here. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this, but if you're not, I'll go ahead and lay out basically what Maestro is so powerful for on this map. He denies the plant at the front of garage, which is the common plant spot on this site. Because of the Thatcher ban, the Kaid is also going to be delaying opening up that wall for quite a long time in all likelihood. So you pair the Maestro, who has the ability to zap the feet of the attackers as they attempt to plant, with the Kaid, the gas canisters, and the Malusis. You're going to have a very difficult assault through the garage. Now, what this means for the attack is it's much better generally to attack top down. Open up above before going for any kind of execution onto the site itself. We'll see what Tempo decide to do, though. They're not committed to that path. It's just, well, likely to be easier. Is only the middle panel electrocuted, or am I crazy?
You're not crazy. I was about to say that. Yes, it is the only the middle panel, but Tempo Storm doesn't have any other hard breach, so they're going to have to torch it anyways.
But why the middle? That means the attack's going to be able to easily open up the... I guess it is... I guess it doesn't matter, yeah. They're probably going to put the other electrical on one of the drops. That'll at least make Maverick take some damage. Still, I wonder what's going on with that Kaid, regardless of the operators on attack.
We can see the hole in the floor inside Piano. I think that he went for that, what you usually go for, the vertical through the floor ceiling thing with the electro claws to make it a little bit more difficult to, get a hold of or destroy, but it just ended up not hitting the other two walls, which, again, not going to be that big of a deal. What's up?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Well, as you made note of, it really doesn't matter in this situation, just because the Maverick's going to have to trick the whole thing. And he's done a pretty good job. He got one panel on the right. He's actually just going to make a hole on the left. So not going to try to go for the entire wall, but we'll be getting a good chunk of it. You could finish that up with soft destruction. As you can see, Dream is going to do just that. He's only going to use one, and he'll break the other bit with his gun. So there you go. Garage panel open, and it only took half the round.
Yeah, and a lot of Mav torches. He's all the way down to his last tank here, but we're more than likely not going to see him use any more of that fuel. His job's now done. Crazy's just another man with a gun holding an angle. They need to get this figured out, though, exactly where this diffuser is going to go down. With all the hard destruction done, it looks like they're going to be favoring the white van, as most teams do, but they do still have to worry about the TSM members upstairs. Most notably achieved inside of Piano with Bolo in tandem. There's a lot of roam presence still to deal with, and I don't think that Tempo has the means right now. This might be a straight up execute. They could possibly support this with the smokes of Jarvis.
I'll be honest, this is looking really bad for Tempo Storm. The main reason is because they haven't cleared out anything above. And that just means that those two roamers can continue to deny the plant at the front of white. And since the anchors are doing a pretty decent job themselves, that makes things even more difficult. Crazy downed, Mark and Dream both going to eat a lot of damage from Geo playing at the back of white van. Now, they will get Crazy back up, and just a little off there for Geo, but it doesn't really matter. The damage is done, and all three of those attackers now will die quite easily on the execution. Achieve will get Dream likely through the holes in the ceiling above. Evil Eyes, both of them still up. The nade might get one of them, but it doesn't matter. By yellow, Merc will get Creators on the garage panel. The attack falling apart. A triple kill for Merc, and it's all on Jarvis, who was trying to hold the flank. TSM will take round number 1 quite decisively.
The vertical play just too strong there, Kicks, and they had no means to try and handle any of that at all. I mean, it took them half the time to get the wall open, and then, hey, I mean, what else can you really do there? They try and force the opposition back, and TSM stands strong. There was a lot of positives there for TSM, though. I really like what they had set up on the side of yellow stairs to try and support the Pipes player with the Banshee on the wall, the barbed wire, ADSs, everything inside of that area to be able to support a kind of setup like that. It was very very, very strong up against Tempo Storm. Now, going into this next setup here, do you think that Tempo needs to favor a top-down clear and not try to be so, headstrong about trying to get the execute forced onto site?
Well, I mean, obviously we're going to a different site here, right? We're going to be ending up somewhere completely different. But yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we had a garage exclusive attack in that last round, and half of the attacking lineup was just sitting outside, whittling their thumbs for the first half of the round.
I thought I was crazy.
No, I mean, like, what are they doing? What is that? That was very confusing. And I guess they're watching for runouts, maybe. They're, messing around by yellow stairs. But no. The Maverick could have had maybe one person assist him, possibly the Zofia outside garage, and everyone else could have done something else. But that wasn't the case. Now, Tempo did have eventually put their gridlock on Piano Rappel, but it didn't matter at that point. And I don't know. I really think there was a lot of wasted time there from Tempo Storm. Now, they don't necessarily have to do a full clear next time they go to the basement, but they do need to use all of their bodies throughout the round. You can't just have people sitting around waiting on attack.
Exactly. There's a checklist to be done on every map, and obviously, especially professional players know exactly what that is. Early pick from Achieved here, and that's exactly why everyone loves Nomad so much on this map. When it's gridlock, you can't do the same things.
I actually forgot to mention this, but I think it was Achieved who said got your kill in the chat. That was direct smack towards Jarvis, because Jarvis is the only player on Tempo who got a kill in the first round, and he also didn't get any kills in the first map. So that was
that's so unfortunate.
That was really direct smack talk there from TSM. they kind of let loose with that one. I didn't get a chance to mention it when it happened, but yeah.
Not the best showing for Tempo right now. Jarvis is dead the next round as well, so that means that flank watch isn't going to be as potent as it once was. Those track stingers help out a lot, especially on maps like Consulate, where there's a lot of staircases that are usually utilized by those roamers to make their way around the map. She's really, really good when it comes to locking those staircases down. So, Tempo now down a member, need to figure out how they're going to handle this admin attack. It's moving decently along here, though. They've already worked themselves up into copy, as well as having most of the admin control. Don't have too much to worry about from TSM down low either.
Now, here's the cool thing. Chala is playing mute instead of smoke. Now, that means, yes, he has less utility to deny pushes, but as an SAS operator, his kit makes him pretty versatile in these close-range engagements anyway. And he's got a mute jammer on his wall, which is preventing the Selmas from detonating right now, so Chala can persist in this location. He's also got a C4 to dislodge an attacker on the balcony, should he need to, but he'll just fall back, because, well, damage done, time wasted. Now he's back inside, nice and safe, and he'll continue to waste time in the remaining minute of this attack.
Oh, and this is immensely strong as well. I love the mute pickup, as you were saying, especially for that nitro cell, because he'll be able to rotate all the way downstairs and use the hatches to try and prevent the default plant inside of the lobby. TSM is decently spread across the entire map right now, and with the man count, this round is really looking up for them.
I gotta say, this is looking really kind of sad for Tempo. Right now, they don't seem aware that anyone's even left Projector, and they might have, I think, yeah, they just figured out about 30 seconds after it happened, oh, hey, we can vault in Projector. Exactly that will happen. Dream now has control of Connector, but he will die to Bolo as he attempts to get control of CEO. Mark has got good line of sight, but he doesn't expect the second roamer. Geo with some great positioning, and he'll pick up an easy three-piece. TSM take round number 2 flawlessly.
Well, I was waiting for Geo's 1, but he actually got 3. Call it a baker's dozen or whatever you want. Geo's on fire inside of that round at least. TSM is adding insult to injury at this point, and there it is. I got 1. He finally got it, folks. Geo is on the scoreboard. Him and Jarvis, popping the champagne, doing what you will. But TSM, oh my goodness, these rounds are coming to them so easily sometimes. I mean, inside of that round alone, they got the initial pick onto Jarvis, but there was no real aggression to try and deal with Projector at all. They didn't even check it with any drones after Chala had already left. I mean, he was long gone by the time that they finally stepped in the door, and then they still had to worry about Bolo inside of CEO, and they didn't even have any information on him. Me thinking, hey, maybe the drone economy is taking a large hindrance. Absolutely not. They still had most of their drones alive for the people that actually were alive. So just a very weird instance there. It could be possibly that the mute jammers were really, really effective. We don't really know, but that botch on taking control of Projector is definitely what led into Tempo's demise.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, middle site, you got to roam above to control the, or middle floor site, that's the main lobby. You got to roam above to control the main lobby itself because it has no soft destruction on its walls, only on its ceiling and on the drops on the floor. So that's what TSM was trying to do early, but usually that doesn't last that long because obviously the attack wants to deal with that, so they clear into it. This round, or that last round, it lasted almost the entire round. Only the last 30 seconds did Tempo really get control of Projector, which is just unacceptable. Now, TSM, really solid for them. Great job. Good, yeah, thumbs up. But a lot of that does lie at the feet of Tempo Storm as well. Now, we're going to archives here. We've got, interestingly, an Oryx being brought from Merc. So he's going to be going for a roam on the other side of the building from the actual bomb site. Now, this is common, actually. It's been made more meta as of late. The Oryx can jump up and down from CEO to basement on this side of the building. And because of that, he is a very versatile roamer and can be quite elusive. Even though you sacrifice utility bringing him, he's still powerful in this specific set of circumstances on this specific map.
We'll see how well Merc can possibly utilize him. He's forced his way on top of the toilet instead of the stall for B1, so in good position right now, and also in good company as two people down below him, Bolo and Achieve, the ump duo for this round, as Pulse and Castle, trying to keep things locked down inside of Garage. This is split site, so this isn't the worst thing for Tempo Storm if they do want to try and go about taking this in this means, but looks like they've headed upstairs, actually, with Crazy and Creators, as well as the, I believe, Hard Breach in tandem. Yes, actually, is that Crazy up there? I do believe it is. Yes, it is. Okay, just had to make sure there for a second. As they're handling all of admin. More breaching charges upstairs now as they're breaking up the floor. Not too bad of a start for them at all.
Actually looking pretty solid here for Tempo. They were very slow at the beginning of the round, but now suddenly they're going for a plant. They might be trying to catch TSM off guard. And they actually could accomplish that. Crazy running around in the site trying to get that plant down. The IQ shooting through the floor to keep the pulse off the heartbeat detector, but it doesn't matter because TSM collapses and all of Tempo Storm fall apart. A flawless round met with a flawless round. TSM looking completely dominant.
This is incredible. Did Merc just come up the teller's hatch?
He may have. No matter what it was, the collapse was just absolute calamity for Tempo.
That was amazingly done by them from every single angle. You thought Tempo had it initially as well, with Ace sprinting around trying to bait Pulse in underneath so the IQ could get the kill. What's up?
How many kills does Tempo have? One? It's still just that one on Jarvis? Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
They got one kill on Jarvis in the first round. And that's it.
Who angered the Giants? That's what I want to know. TSM is just plain. It's kind of like that what we saw from SSG earlier. I mean, Canadian said it before the matchup. He's like, hey, we're here to knock some teeth. And TSM looking to do the exact same. They are not allowing Tempo to have any breathing room at all. As soon as they, simple misstep, even something small happens, TSM's all over it. And they wash Tempo almost every single round. It's actually very impressive.
Yeah, they're really crazy. I think, honestly, that last round was probably the fastest I've ever seen a 5v5 go to a flawless round victory for one of those two teams. It's up there. That's like record pace. Because Tempo were actually in a good spot. They had decent control, and then they just all die? What?
I'm like 90% positive right now that Merc got 3 kills with 1 magazine.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, TSM's playing really well. Let's not forget that. But also, a big part of it is Tempo Storm are clearly struggling.
Absolutely, and I think that it's in a couple of different departments right now. Like, obviously, TSM has done a very good job with their roam game, as well as getting these picks initially throughout the entire series, and that's something that sometimes can hindrance things like comms, for instance, where, maybe someone drones more often on the team than another, and if they're picked off first, you don't have the same amount of drone plays you once would, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of factors that go into this. We'll have to see exactly what Tempo thinks after this series, but obviously there is still a chance for them to come back. Let's not count them out just yet. TSM's halfway through this defensive set as we are back downstairs inside of basement.
Once again, the Maverick tricking. Why are they all? Once again, the Maverick is tricking open the wall, and like any common work site, you would see maybe a road repair. There's one person doing the work and at least 3 people watching. Meanwhile, I mean, what else have we got going on here? There's a little bit of droning.
There's some stuff.
Yeah, there's the CEO repel from the sledge. He's droning as well. Dream and yeah, lots of droning. That's cool. But there's no attempt at control above where we see 2 TSM roamers. There's no pressure vertically. It's just all 5 attackers outside. Oh, now all of them outside the garage. No one's even playing yellow, which is going to allow Merc to later, or not Merc rather, but Bolo to later rotate on yellow as he's playing above. I mean, this is an ideal set of circumstances for TSM, as they can simply wait and feel absolutely no pressure whatsoever. No picks either. Okay.
It is just not a good look. It is not a good look at all. Tempo Storm's drone economy right now, Michael. I mean, look at this. No one has moved from the garage at all. There's no one to even capitalize on the information that they are getting either. And they've got a decent amount of information now, utilizing these last couple drones really, really well. Jarvis forcing his way in, almost loses a fight to Bolo, but he's actually going to take more damage than he gives as Bolo trades out in his own favor. They still have Piano locked down as well, as Tempo is just trying to walk in, but not able to get the entry frags needed.
A lot of exchange back and forth here, but as you can see from the HP values, TSM, the ones on top here. And even though Bolo's taken some damage, he's still on that roam, and he's still going to affect some change from down or up above. Good entry here from Tempo, all things considered. It could have gone much worse, but it's not going to matter because Gio's still alive at back white, and he'll have Diffuser well in hand. Chala gets the final kill after the absolute chaos settles down, and TSM, yet another round. At least this time, Tempo Storm got a few kills.
I don't know how you go about that offense with that, you know, what their main game plan is, and actually get a diffuser down without getting a horrendous amount of initial kills on site. I really don't.
Yeah.
There's so much utility there for them to utilize in order to stop a plant, especially with such low time. I mean, you guys have to have some sort of pressure somewhere else inside of the map to get a diffuser down like that, especially, you know, when it comes to site players, Michael. I mean, every single person inside of that site are going to be trained on that man putting the diffuser down. That's their job. That's all they have to do. Unless you give them something else or force them to focus somewhere else, everyone's now focused on the garage, and you're walking right into the lion's den.
The thing that I don't understand here, Stokes, is what we're looking at is a Maverick opening the garage, right? Yeah, okay. That's the plan. That's what Tempo wants to do. They've done it twice now. They clearly have it like as their main, okay, we're going to execute this way.
Mm-hmm.
Have they not practiced it? Because if you're using the Maverick to open the garage consistently now, it has taken half of the round to do that. Why is everybody sitting outside garage? Why aren't people like, where's the clear? You can just send the rest of your team to clear the building that whole time. And I get it. Maybe you want to conserve your energy. You want to conserve your man count. And okay, yeah, those people sitting outside garage, they are droning. They're assessing the situation. I get it. But I adamantly believe that is a truly inefficient use of their time. And at this level, I'm used to seeing, and I anticipate having every single member on both teams like constantly performing some sort of job or like doing a thing that is going to further their team's goals. And I don't think that like having your entire team drone is going to be that meaningful. It's definitely useful. Information gathering is great, but man, oh man, could there be more done with that? Like you could clear out the entire top floor and middle floor while your Maverick is opening up the garage. That is feasible.
Absolutely. And the thing is on that is that the piece that we never really talk about inside of, oh yeah, utility, all this kind of stuff. The thing that you want the most of in this game is time. And Tempo is wasting so much time by doing things in that manner. Your time is the thing that is it's bread and butter. You have to be aware of it at all times. And without Tempo worrying about different parts of the map, you're just standing outside making sure that apparently this welding is OSHA approved. I mean, it's...
Yeah, that's good.
I try. But now down into round 5, Creators, gets clotheslined by some bullets as he dashes up yellow. Merc and Geo both with some big frags. Mark finally getting a frag back as they have piano control. There are some chances here to put down a diffuser, but Creators is still downed. No chance of really picking him up either. So much pressure from TSM across the map as well. There's a lot of area that they could utilize.
And not a lot of HP that can be utilized on the side of Tempo. Creators will be finished off on yellow stairs as he attempts to descend. And, Tempo just stinging the wind at this point. They've got Crazy over by yellow, Mark inside a bathroom, but there's players that we're going to cut off these two attackers getting together and going for a plant. Crazy tries to cross, but doesn't check top yellow. Chala will finish him off, and Geo will get Mark. TSM, another round. And at this point, Stokes, you have to wonder, I mean, is this a competition anymore?
Okay. You know what sucks?
What's that?
This is the first game you and I have ever casted together.
Is it?
Yeah.
Surely we've casted together before.
I don't think we have.
No, I'm pretty sure we have. I remember casting with you before. I mean, it's the first time we've casted in a long time, I think. No. But I'm fairly certain we've casted together. I have memories of it.
Oh, we probably have then. It's probably just me being silly. But to move on to points that actually matter, TSM are looking really, really, really good right now. The thing is that I really don't know how much improvement they've had on these maps from previous series that I've watched, because Tempo Storm really isn't doing all too much. I mean, for instance, that last round, they simply just rushed down yellow. That was it. They sprinted up, tried to get piano control, and that was the entire game plan. TSM have complete control of the top floor. They have vertical play through the hatches. They still have utility to use. And I mean, your entry into the building is Creators getting clotheslined by bullets. And he's currently 0-0-5. I mean, look at the scoreboard right now for Tempo Storm. It's like everyone's just got their monitors unplugged.
You know, and I gotta say, first of all, let's not get it twisted, everybody. Mm-hmm. Stokes and I both, if I could speak for him a second, are truly impressed by the performance we're seeing from TSM right now.
Absolutely.
Like, they are playing absolutely on top of their game. We're seeing TSM basically refined perfectly. It's looking awesome for TSM. Great, fantastic. The reactivity to the responses that Tempo have, when Tempo decides to go for a rush, TSM does not let that go. They don't let any control go unanswered by a kill. And I love to see that, but also really most of this is just Tempo playing really poorly right now. And it's strange because, I mean, the analyst desk was right when they were assessing how Tempo were looking, better based on their last match. And what is this Tempo? This is a completely different Tempo.
We'll have to see if they can possibly pick up their first offensive round here. Round 6 is underway. We're about 40 seconds in now, as Merc's taking a little bit of damage initially, but that doesn't mean that he's dead. Still has half of that life bar left as TSM spinning around downstairs. They've already adjusted for what Tempo Storm what to do, and that's exactly what Michael was talking about just a little bit ago, folks. They saw the initial game plan from Tempo Storm and said, okay, let's adjust all of our utility downstairs. We have so many nitro cells to try and counter out these plants, so let's do that. We'll just shift on down the staircase, have somebody try and mess around mid-floor, and see how well it goes. It went really, really well last time with that retake. Granted, they don't have the orcs, but they definitely have the artillery to handle everything Tempo's going to throw at them. Mark thought that he could get a free sledge to watch the lower rotate for the staircase, but instead gets blown sky high.
For lack of a better word, TSM are controlling the tempo in both senses, I guess. That sort of a C4 was an aggressive C4 that puts your opponent off keter, that puts them on check, that makes them think, heck, I can't do anything without a direct response from my opponent, in this case, TSM. And that direct response from TSM is every single time meeting, or is resulting in, rather, in a kill for the defense. So Bolo will get taken down. At least there's that for Tempo. A little ray of sunshine. And it's an unanswered kill, too. Tempo able to establish themselves after getting that pick. And so they'll be a little bit more confident, a little bit more comfortable when they go for the execution on the site. But there's still 3C4. There's still a pulse. Luckily, there's an IQ. But no matter how you look at this, it's going to be a difficult execution.
Very difficult as Tempo's trying to force themselves down bottom spiral. They don't even get the initial kill. Achieve will pick up that, and he dips back to make sure no one's planning on site. Geo has it, though. It's handled. It's all now down to Crazy, who immediately gets exploded. That's a perfect defensive half, Michael, and they only lost Bolo to do it. I mean, this is checkmate overall from TSM. Every step of the way, they are the obstacle to stop Tempo Storm. I mean, even when they're doing something as simple as trying to sledge the top of spiral so that they can see down into the other staircase to make sure no one can rotate, you get nitrocelled. This chess match is being played very one-sided.
This is a little bit abstract, but the way that it's happening, or the way that this match is playing out right now, TSM has so much control and so much such polished coordination that it's almost as if they're playing against toddlers. Now, Tempo Storm are playing bad, but they're not playing like they're not playing like they don't belong here. They are playing poorly, but they aren't playing like the Tempo we're used to seeing. But TSM are playing on a completely different level currently. As an example, remember watching that Pulse get the kill on the player who was on Banana as Tempo was attempting to distract the anchors down in the site to allow for a plant in the site? That was really big. He won the fight with his UMP and was able to rotate across Banana to pull out his heartbeat detector. Despite the fact that he knew another player was on Banana, he trusted his teammate, the Kaid, to pick up that angle and to support and protect the Pulse, allowing the Pulse to call out the location of the planter and for the other C4 in sight to deny the planter getting that diffuser down. Now, the diffuser did get down, but it doesn't matter. The swiftness in which TSM is making these decisions on an individual level, which contribute to the overall success of the team, is truly, profoundly impressive. It's the sort of siege that I want to say almost peak siege. You could call it perfect siege. Now, that doesn't mean that TSM's the best team in the world, but they are having, at this moment, TSM are having basically everything go their way. And it's due to two factors. It's due to TSM being incredibly on point, and it's due to the fact that Tempo Storm are not putting up a fight.
To me, it just feels like a TSM, the couple of weeks right before we get to a LAN. Those initial days where you see what everyone's been cooking up and working on, this is what it feels like to me for TSM. Almost every LAN, they come through with what seems to be a hive mind, and they just start eating people alive with how aggressive they can get, but they can also slow it down. It's such an amazing play style, and they're good for it. Their mechanical skill is off the charts, and they continue to pick up all of these kills. Crazy dead again for Tempo Storm.
We're not even a minute done. We're about to hit that threshold, and your projector player got picked off first thing. On a top floor roam, that is devastating. And at least it's a basement defense, or this could be much worse. If this were a middle floor defense, that probably would have cost the round. As it stands, Tempo can recover this, but of course, the momentum is very against them. I feel bad for Tempo because I know what it's like to be in this position, to play with this kind of setup. And you really just, when you're in Tempo's spot, right, you just wish you could hit the pause button and take a step back and go, what the hell is happening? And just discuss it as a team, because this is not course correctable in the middle of a match unless some sort of miracle happens, and currently that miracle is, well, evasive.
Well, TSM still working down their checklist here as hatches have been opened inside of lobby. Most of the hard destruction gone, except obviously for Geo's last Selma charge that he can possibly use. But the garage is already opened. TSM seemingly setting up for this garage execute, and they're really good for it right now. They have all of top control. This is what we were talking about before. You need this verticality to assist you, and that's exactly why. Merc gets a free kill all by peeking the circle hatch. This verticality plays so well into handling garage.
40 seconds left and seemingly no hope left for Tempo, but at least they've got decent control of their own site. As the sledge continues to open up above, though, that might change. Evil Eyes being destroyed there by the nades from above. Sledge continuing to encroach on the back of white, and the Maestro is forced off of his anchor position, making holding the site that much more difficult. But, oh, a ray of sunshine. 2 picks for Tempo. Bolo will respond, but still a chance is formed, and Tempo Storm could win this out in the dying seconds. But not so as Mark goes for a push. Bolo gets his triple kill and starts the plant. Jarvis with the C4 might be able to deny, but he doesn't even get to detonate it. TSM gets the win. Merc calls GG's before the round even ends. And Stokes, that has to be one of the most one-sided best of threes I've casted in years.
I would completely agree with you. I don't think inside of a best of 3 that I have ever had a 14-1 in my casting career. That is... Oh my goodness gracious, TSM. I mean, there's beating another team, but then there is brutalizing another team, and that's exactly what we just saw TSM do. Merc topping the scoreboard as well, 10, 4, and 3. Oh my goodness gracious, Michael. TSM is firing on every single cylinder they have.
I'm angry about that, and I don't care who wins these matches. I never have. I like competitive Siege. You know, I like teams going head-to-head and having really intense battles and learning new things because they show us on screen. That match made me angry, and I can't even explain why. I'm just profoundly angry about that result. And I was expecting it, you know, TSM to win. I think that was most people would anticipate. But that kind of performance wasn't even a performance. It was more like a let's get it over with. It's like yeah, it's a weird match, but it's over now, I guess. You know, at least it was quick. We'll go ahead and toss to the analyst desk, and they'll have their words about it.
My goodness. Thank you so much, Kicks and Stokes, for casting. Have a great night.
Why
it was a short
highlights?
night
Why are
for
we
y'all.
showing
I
highlights?
really don't even know, Belly. I'm kind of speechless. I mean, you just heard Kicks there. I mean, he was frustrated. Like, we want to watch good Siege, right? And then Stokes said 14-1. 7-0 on that second map, gentlemen. This is where I usually say, all right, let's check out the highlights. And I'm kind of like...
No, this is not highlights. It's a damn montage for TSM. Is that what I get for hyping up team? Like, honestly, like Tempo, I thought from when we saw them last time, they fixed those issues and that they were just significantly better. But it seems like they just gave. It doesn't, like, honestly, it looks like they gave up. They weren't trying after the first map, and that's upsetting. Like, I believed in these guys, you know. I still do. Excuse me. I still do. But what the hell is going on?
Jesse, they're gonna have to chat with that sports psychologist. And get a new game plan when it comes to that.
Yes.
Just as I was talking about their mental game, it being so strong, and they're not gonna like slip into a rut. They're always gonna be focused, and they're gonna get 14 losses in a row. And that was bad. That was confusing. Like, this is the team that beat Oxygen. These guys? Are you sure it wasn't like Tempo Storm? Did we mix something up? Yeah, that was really bad. And, you know, the casters said it a bunch. TSM still played great. They played really, really well. Bolo was on top of it. You know, Merc was there, the whole team. You know, there was no bad performer in that series. But the key point there is that Tempo Storm did not play very well.
It's 10:30, Jackie. It is 10. We have never ended this early, and that's because 2 maps ended faster than 1 map could usually.
I am shocked at how fast that all happened. I'm literally shocked.
Does NA run too late?
I know that both of you, I know our casters, I know our analysts, like, you guys are a little bit frustrated about that.
Yes.
I mean, but real talk, like, what happened? That was a hot mess. I mean, are we talking about like a mental breakdown here? Were they not prepared? Like, let's be a little bit serious and like really try to figure out what the hell did we just watch? Like, what did we just watch, Belly?
I don't know. All I can tell you is that after 3 rounds, I had as much kills as 4 players on that team sitting back and doing this all day long. Like, it was nothing. What? I was gonna show the chat my shorts. Production, why you do that? Let's now look at the stats.
Yeah.
That's kind of sad.
To see these.
God.
That's kind of sad.
Oh my goodness.
But at least Jarvis was on top this time.
Is it the top?
All right, production says show short. I sat back for 3 rounds like this, and I got the same amount of kills as just about everybody else on that team.
Put
you know what I'm
those
saying?
legs
I was
away.
chilling. No, but seriously, like, put this in a perspective. After 3 rounds, Chala has 0 kills. He has 1 less kill than everyone else on Tempo Storm after 3 rounds. I don't know what to say, honestly. Like, there's literally nothing to break down. There's just disappointment because we all believe in Tempo. We all believe that Tempo got better. Today was not a good example. Like, we're not mad. We're just really upset with their performance because we expected more. Like, now is the time to grind. Relegation is around the corner, man.
It's starting to come up, and like it seemed like on that map there was a lot of one-dimensional pushes. Kickstar went off about this. You know, they're staring at the garage wall. They're gonna go in garage, and there's no other game plan. There's a lot of just running in with no intel and like, you know, getting clotheslined by bullets. I think that Sam said once. I mean, there was really there wasn't a lot of good there, obviously, and yeah, I don't know. I almost had a better time watching Veli's legs.
Oh no!
I'll send you pictures later on.
No, y'all just stop that chat. Y'all stop that.
Right.
For real though, I mean, what do you think Tempo is saying to each other right now? I mean, like, I mean, honestly, I'd probably just walk out. I don't even think I would want to be talking to anybody. But I mean, real talk, like, what are they saying to each other? Like, what is the game plan following that, Veli?
There's no game plan. Sit down. We all know what they did wrong. They know what they did wrong. I had a really good conversation with Kens in stage 1. I know what type of person he is now. I'm really good friends with Rams. You too, right? Rams does not like broken execution and false ideologies when it comes to game plan. He is a step-by-step person, and I know they weren't having a good time watching this. Just go back to the drawing board. Come back better. Do not.
I
be
was
in
just
that
thinking,
8.5.
Rams is like a very quiet man, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't like to use a lot of words, but not when he's upset. Not when he's upset. So I'm like, I am sure he is not happy right now. Jesse, what do you think their plan is going to be after this? Like, what are they going to be like? We need to seriously address this.
I mean, like, regroup, right? Like, this was not Tempo Storm's peak. This was not their usual play. They're a better team than what they showed today. And I jokingly said, this is the team that beat Oxygen, but like, kind of wasn't, right? Like, the team that beat Oxygen still exists somewhere, which didn't show up today. But that team looked good. They looked pretty good. And that looks like a team that could easily, you know, push for top 4, top 5, top 6, top 3, maybe, you know, in that ballpark. In middle of the pack, could reach up a little bit higher. What we saw today was like it was an 8th place team. It was a team that gets relegated by The Last Dance in a couple of months here. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, gentlemen, y'all just sound annoyed. So, you know what, let's just get to our interview here. And actually, we have Pojo Man on deck. Pojo Man, yay! Congrats on the victory.
Thank you.
How are you feeling, sir?
We're feeling pretty good. No complaints. We just did what we wanted to do, and it worked.
I mean, that was a clobbering, Pojo Man. Did you all expect it to go down like that?
We were confident on those maps, but it wasn't... Consulate, we definitely knew that that was our map to win, so that didn't surprise us. And I thought Clubhouse would be... They'd get a few more rounds, but, you know, that's the way it goes.
Yeah, surely. I mean, kudos to y'all. I mean, you guys did not hold back. You didn't ease up. You stayed completely focused through and through. Definitely showing your discipline there. And this has to feel great, right? I mean, you're safe from relegation. You're going to the U.S. Finals. Tell me, what are some of the emotions you're feeling? I mean, y'all are in a good place.
Yeah, we're just glad we didn't get relegated. Just like a long time ago when we were in the 8th place. It feels good to just not get relegated. That's the biggest thing.
Hey, I like the mentality. Yeah, no, I totally get that. So tell me, looking forward now, what are you all thinking? What do you guys really want to improve on and fix? Like, what are the main goals moving forward now?
I think mainly just kind of working on our styles, making sure we can do everything and do everything well. That's the biggest thing we've been working on. Whether we want to be super aggressive or we want to be super defensive and use our utility, making sure we're able to do birth is important.
Okay, and you know, we watched a very intense match earlier today between Dark Zero and SSG. You know, TSM definitely a top contender in the U.S. division. Do you feel like in your heart that y'all can be the best in the U.S.?
I think we've shown that we can be the best in the U.S. frequently. Sometimes we might get second, sometimes we get third, sometimes we'll get first. So I think we've shown that we can do that, and I think we're in a good spot to do that this season.
All right. Well, Pojo Man, go enjoy that victory. Thank you so much for talking with us.
All right, thanks for having me.
Of course, always. And have a wonderful evening. Let's bring it back to our analysts. Pojo Man's so funny. He's like, I'm just happy we aren't going to get relegated. I was like, all right. Like, I cannot argue with that mentality there. Yeah. I do think everybody's still kind of in shock, though, just at how fast that all went down. Am I wrong? Like, he was just, like, really short. He's like, yeah, okay, I guess we're done here. So
yeah, by the time we're done with streams, I go straight to sleep. I'm wide awake right now, Jackie.
I know.
I don't know what to do with the rest of my day.
Well, you know what? Why don't we discuss the Corsair play of the day?
Yes.
I mean, there has to be tons to choose from that last matchup. No, but really, real talk, what are y'all thinking for the Corsair play of the day? Ooh.
I'm not sure. Merc had awesome moments. It's probably going to be that Merc 3K when he wrapped around the CCTV and killed Monty as well. I think that's it.
Jesse's
I'm gonna say maybe like a false play from map 1. I wouldn't call anything that just happened a highlight. So
agreed.
I'm hoping something from the very
no
first game.
offense, but agreed 100%. I'm like, let's see. Okay, let's roll the Corsair play of the day. I'm gonna be kind of leaning more towards Jesse here. It better be false. I don't even know what we were just watching.
I don't even want to see Tempo on the screen tonight.
I know, right? And let's see what we got here.
Oh, this was Skies, I think. Pretty sure this is Skies.
Okay, this is good.
Yeah, I actually thought about this one too.
Actually, you know what's really interesting? We had such a great Group A matchup, and then, I mean,
let's get that out of our. I don't even want to think about.
Okay, let's not think about it anymore. Let's think about it anymore.
We have one game today.
Yeah, let's just.
This was a great play by Skies. This was a
This
really
was
good
amazing play by Skies. Yes.
And like we said,
nice.
The Group A matchup was fantastic. Really quickly, gentlemen, let's just go over the bracket, recap the day here. And Jesse, why don't you do Group B? I'm sorry.
Yes. Group B has a champion now. TSM gonna top Group B. I don't think a huge surprise to most people. This looked like the favorites coming into it. They of course do beat out Tempo Storm to claim that. With Disrupt losing earlier in the week, they will finish in 4th for this group, and then Tempo Storm Oxygen will play. And although Tempo Storm won, in that first battle up in the very first week, I think things are looking good for Oxygen to be able to take that rematch. The winner will join TSM in Group A for Phase 2. The loser joins Disrupt Gaming in Group B for Phase 2.
All right, Belly, let's talk about Group A.
Group A, Dark Zero fell to Space Station Gaming. The dominant streak has come to an end as far as we know it for now, right? So Space Station Gaming, they're going to be on top of the group. Sonic's last. But the 2 spots we're waiting for has to do with the game that has to be played. Dark Zero versus the new looking United. And trust me, I'm not going to hype up a United like I did today. Like, I'm dead hyping up teams. United's going to have to show us that this team change made them for real. So I'm excited about that matchup.
Yeah, super excited to see what we have ahead for next week. But also, everybody, don't forget, on Friday, we have Canadian Division action as well. Those are extremely fun matches. I get to work with Kixon and Taro, and we all know that they're an absolute hoot.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
So I feel like
we got lots of time, Billy.
The Canadian division doesn't get enough love, and you gotta ask Jesse. Jesse and Parker definitely. Even you, Jackie, because you cover Canadian, right? There are some talented individuals there. I mean, look at Mirage. Look at Altiora, right? They look awesome at the moment. One player just went like 20-something kills in a match and just destroyed a team. So make sure you tune in because I'll be in the chat.
They're also really interactive on social media, and I called one whose name is Spirit Sprite, and he won't let me live it down. He's always got a Sprite, like, every game day. I'm like, sorry. But no, it's an absolute hoot, great action, and again, like, Kixon and Taro, they're just, like, so fun to work with. But want to give a big thank you, obviously, to our wonderful casters. We're mixing it up today. That was kind of fun.
That was refreshing.
And obviously, big thank you to these 2 goofballs, Veli showing off his legs, Jesse like mean mugging and like freezing up on me. It is always entertaining with you two. Okay, put those away. Thank you. And want to give a big thank you to our crew. You are all fantastic. And again, as always, so much love for all of you watching at home. Thank you so much for supporting us. We appreciate y'all so much. But that's it. It's a wrap, everybody. Have a wonderful Wednesday. I can't believe how early it is, but we will see you soon. All right. Bye, everybody.
Located at the seconds to go. Attackers following. Enable the diffuser. Bomb diffuser. 15 seconds left. Attackers bomb diffuser left. Attackers bomb diffuser. Bomb located by attackers.